Chapter 18. 5 months had come and gone since Derek last saw Katie. He decided to take one last nap against a stack of hay in the loft of the barn. The entire property was set to close escrow the next morning. He bought a cabin in the woods near a river and decided to live out the rest of his days, like Andy lived with Pradicus. He rested his head back against the hay and imagined Andy on the opposite side, taking in the breeze. "I really miss you," he said softly while sliding off into a peaceful sleep. A familiar voice answered back. "Did you mean it?" The voice startled him for half a second, then he began drifting off to sleep again. "Did I mean what?" he asked in a slurred, mumbled voice. "What you said," the voice replied in a soft, whispery tone. A snore escaped his open mouth and slightly offset jaw, followed by a smacking of his lips. What did I say?" "That you didn't want me to find you." He ever so slightly shook his head, almost to the point of not moving it at all. "I didn't," he said, his speech slurring again. "Didn't mean it." The voice answered back. "I brought you some peaches from Old Man Cutter's peach trees." She set them down in a tidy bandana. "Andy," he answered, his face taking on a luminescent glow. "My Andy, I knew you'd come." She leaned in and kissed him on the cheek. "Yes, you're Andy." She frowned. "I'm so sorry, Derek." She took him by the hand. "How in the world could I have let you live an entire lifetime without me, without us?" She began to tear up. "I just can't imagine what it was like for you." Just then, Garen stepped off the loft's ladder. "Did you find him?" She nodded as a great swelling tear dropped from her eyelash. She glanced back at Garen, trying hard to fight off the guilt. "I'm too late," she cried. She leaned in again and kissed the top of his head, holding him. "Way too late. I don't want him to know I was here," she said, wiping her eyes. Her cheerless, straight lips bent into a frown, and she broke. "How did this happen, Garen? It's only been a few months. You said this wouldn't be the case." Garen quietly moved toward her. "Actually, I said this probably wouldn't be the case, but without the emerald, it was impossible to know for sure when we would arrive in his timeline. Andy, I'm sorry." "Oh God, this means my parents and my sisters and brother never knew either. Lord Jesus, help me." "It's not all bad. If we had the emerald, things could possibly be different. Does he know where it is?" A glimmer of hope struck Andy's disheartened countenance. "Well, ask him," Garen said. She spoke softly, studying his face, taking in his every wrinkle. "Derek, where is the—" Then she stopped. "What is it, Andy?" Garen asked. "What if he led a good life? What if he doesn't want this? There are other things to consider here." "Well, we're running out of time. The window won't last long. Either we get it or we don't." She wrestled with her selfishness and weighed it against what would be in Derek's best interest. "Come on, make a decision." "I'm trying," she snapped. "Didn't you see the message he left on the tombstone? It said for me not to find him. He probably put that message there decades ago. What if he has kids? A wife? Grandkids? Everything will change. I can't make that call." She stood up and then kissed his hand. She rested it comfortably on the bandana-wrapped peaches. "Derek, I'm so sorry." She then turned. "And I'm even more sorry. You've forgotten me," she said under her breath in a crackling whisper. The two exited the barn and started their run back across the field. While balancing her emotions on the bitter edge of tears, it was the managing of her amassing feeling of loss that overtook her. She slowed to a walk and then collapsed to her knees under the weight of pure, undiluted anguish. "Andy, what are you doing? You're going to be stuck here. The window won't wait." "My God, Garen," she answered, sobbing. "He didn't want me. I'm all alone. I've lost everything. Again." "Andy, please, I don't mean to sound insensitive, but I can't wait. I have no way to get back. I have to go. Are you listening? Andy." He called again, but it wasn't the sound of Garen's voice she caught carrying on the wind. It was the tone of an elderly woman calling her name. Andy turned one direction, then, sitting up, flipped around to another, trying to hone in on the faint calling. She heard it again and then spotted the waving of the woman's arms. It wasn't so much a call, after all, but a shouting of her name. She leapt to her feet and then took a few small steps toward the elder woman. "I'm going to have to leave you here, Andy. I have to go right now," Garen said firmly. "Come now, if you're going with me." She swiveled her head toward Garen. "Shush, I can't hear her. She knows who I am." She turned her attention back to the woman and squinted hard. She couldn't make out the sentence, but a few words landed on her ears. "Garen, can you understand her? I think she said Mr. and late. That doesn't make sense." "No, not late, more like lately," Garen answered. "There's an E sound at the end. That's all I can help you with, Andy. If we don't get back to the wormhole, we're really going to be stuck here." "She's addressing us, Garen. It sounds like Mr. and Lady to me. Now she's pointing at the barn and saying Derek's name too. Maybe that's it. She's calling out names. What name sounds like Mr.?" "I don't know, Andy." "Blister." "Seriously?" Andy asked. "Blister." Garen shrugged his shoulders. "I'll come right back soon, okay? That's if I can't keep the window open. I will find you, okay?" He turned and started jogging the other direction. "Try Fister, Twister, Chister," he hollered out. Andy gasped. "Oh my goodness, that's it. Sister, Mr. is sister, and Lady is..." She stopped. "Katie?" she whispered to herself. She turned back to Garen. "It's my sister Katie, Garen," she screamed. "It's my sister!" She sprinted off toward the woman. "Katie, it's me, Andy." Katie started walking as quickly as she could to meet Andy in the field, but lost herself in the hysterics of joyful weeping. She slowed to a complete stop, bent over at the waist, catching her breath, and then buried her face in her hands. However, the unexpected sight of her long-lost older sibling churned up painful memories laid to rest long ago, exposing unattended wounds of her family's arduous past. By the time Andy made her way nearer, Katie's joy had been shattered by the reminiscent storms of sorrow and grief from Andy's disappearance. Andy stopped just short of reaching her. "Is it really you, Katie?" Katie looked up and wiped her eyes. My, you look just like your high school picture," she said. "Derek always said you would." A long repressed tear welled within her eye, finally announcing its validation. Surrendering to the tears that followed, she whimpered through an emerging frown. "I'm so angry, Andrea. I'm angry that you were taken from us, from me. You're my sister, and I never even knew you." Sorting through a myriad of unsettled feelings herself, Andy wondered if a hug would be presumptuous, and instead placed a consoling hand on her arm. "Katie, I'm sorry. You have no idea how happy I am to see you. But look at you. It seems like only yesterday you were little Katie, full of life and attitude." She steadily reached an arm around her baby sister and squeezed. "There's so much I want to say." Katie took Andy by the hand. "Derek used to speak so highly of you. It made me so envious of the time he was able to spend with you. All my life, I've felt as if I were robbed. We all did." Andy's smile, laced with heartache, simply flattened. "What became of everyone?" she asked somberly. "Katie, please tell me. What happened to Mom and Dad?" Katie held Andy's hand tighter. Well, we all held on to the hope that we would see your safe return. Derek never told them what really happened. As far as anyone knew, you simply vanished one day. I didn't learn from Derek his account of things until everyone else was." She paused. "Until they all passed on. Mom much earlier than the rest of them." She shook her head, giving in to another elongating frown. "Dad was so unhappy, downright miserable without Mom for the next 4 years, until he just one day stopped. He stopped eating, caring, living." Andy clutched her sister's hand, then drew it to her lips and kissed it several times. Katie, I'm so sorry, she said. She then closed her eyes and enveloped her in a complete embrace. I just wish we could go back to that day you disappeared. Nothing's been okay without you. Even Derek's had such a lonely life. He could have tried to find me, Katie. I don't understand why he didn't try. He had the emerald. All he had to do was add it with the other stones that make up... The Atlas? Katie interrupted. The answer caught Andy off guard. Well, yes, actually. He must have discussed this with you. Silence split the moment as Andy put pieces together. Oh, she said. Derek never had the Atlas. Wait a minute, Garen has it. But we weren't able to use it because it was missing the emerald. She looked back over her shoulder towards the wormhole. Oh no, Garen's taking it with him. We need to get a hold of the emerald. Do you know where it is, Katie? Katie grasped a delicate gold chain fastened around her neck and then drew the attached emerald out from beneath her blouse. This? She asked skeptically. Andy nodded and then reached for it. Katie's tone deepened while her eyes grew wide and irate. This small green stone is the reason for everything? Well, there's more to it than that. But please hand it to me, Katie. I realize some things seem to be finally making sense, but believe me, it's not at all even close to the truth of the matter. I need to catch Garen. I need to catch him now. He's the one you saw me with way over in the field. Please, we actually have a chance to set things straight. Please hand it to me. Derek never made a big deal out of this emerald. Out of the blue one day, he asked me if I wanted it. It seemed to me that he was about to pawn it or just throw it out, so I said I'd take it, she said, unclasping it in the back. I'm so glad he didn't throw it out, Andy said. Thank you for keeping it for him. She gathered it in her hand. I promise I will be right back. She turned and then sprinted off toward the window, praying there was still enough time to reach Garen. Chapter 19.